Minister Floyd Green, Agriculture Minister, was speaking to over 30 farmers yesterday, where he also give lease paper documents to them. The residents say they are happy because they can just show it to anybody, anyone that they are legal because they have their documents. So 30 members.
Hello everyone.
One, two, 1, 2. Testing. Damian, where is it? I know that we're off to a kind of late start, but we're starting nonetheless. All right. I want to just give a broad and warm welcome. Well, it is warm. All right, I can feel it. A warm welcome to everyone here today. We are running behind a little, so I just want to ask persons to settle down as quickly as possible so that we can move along. I am a stand-in, the permanent secretary. Mr. Derman Spence was supposed to have been your MC, but unfortunately he's unable to make it today. So I am going to be with you for the day as MC. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure and privilege to welcome you to the regularization ceremony for farmers in Stthomas. Today represents the fulfillment of a continued mission to empower our farmers. Land tenureship is very critical and serves not only to demonstrate to our farmers that they are legal owners, but also to empower them with the ability to access tools that can help take their farming practices to the next level. This is one rung that you require in your trek to doing investment: land, labor, capital. So this will satisfy that particular requirement of land. My name is Nigel Myrie. I'm the Managing Director of SCJ Holdings and your standing Master of Ceremonies for this morning's proceedings. Before continuing, I want to quickly recognize the presence of some special and important guests here today. Today we have with us Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Honorable Floyd Green. Welcome him. Member of Parliament for Eastern Stthomas, Dr. Michelle Charles. Please put your hand, give her the warmest Stthomas welcome. We're expecting Member of Parliament James Robertson for Western Stthomas, but we have not had an update on his ETA. Also, His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Louis Chin. We anticipate that he should be here as well. Apologies for the absence of the chairman of the sugar company of SCJ Holdings Limited, Mr. Cleveland Allen. Other SCJ board members, Director Hanson and Director Price, who are with us, members of staff of SCJ and the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, industry stakeholders, rather I've seen so far, and members of the media. Good morning again, and welcome to the regularization ceremony for farmers. Before we delve into the meat of today's the our director, SCJ Holdings, Mr. Michael Price, to bring greetings on behalf of our chairman, who is not here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. A pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, let me apologize for Mr. Cleveland Allen, Chairman of the Board of Sugar Corporation of Jamaica. I'm Michael Price. Unfortunately, the chairman could not make it this morning. He's on the other end of the island and couldn't make it in time. I'm Michael Price, a member of the board. It is both an honor and a great pleasure to welcome you all here today to today's regularization ceremony, an occasion that holds deep meaning not only for SCJH Limited, but for the resilient farming communities of Stthomas. Let me begin by acknowledging the presence of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Mr. Floyd Green, Member of Parliament, Dr. Michelle Charles, Eastern Stthomas, the Parish Manager of RADA, Mr. Errard Stevenson. I saw him earlier, we're having some discussions, and other specially invited guests, including representatives from partner agencies, farming associations, and community stakeholders. Also, to the members of the media, a heartfelt welcome, special welcome to our Lease recipients seated before us. Today is truly your day. And a special thanks to Miss Arlene McDonald, Principal of the Golden Grove Primary and Infant School, who has so kindly and graciously agreed to host us here today. Stthomas stands at the edge of a great transformation with the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project and the Morant Bay Urban Center paving the way for economic revitalization. The parish is poised to become a model of rural growth and opportunity, but infrastructure alone is not enough. True development must include and uplift the people who have long tilled these lands and sustained their families through agriculture. Today's ceremony forms part of the Livelihood Continuation Program, which was initiated by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining in 2019, following the closure of the Golden Grove Sugar Factory. For its part, SCJ Holdings Limited, an agency of the said ministry, recognized the tremendous economic potential of the many informal farmers operating across the parish. SCJH's first step was to engage these individuals directly, to understand their needs and to assess their interest in formalizing their operations. Once that interest was confirmed, SCJH moved swiftly to put in place the necessary administrative framework, ensuring that these farmers could be formally recognized and empowered as legitimate contributors to the growing wave of economic activity and transformation of Stthomas. Today represents the full actualization of these efforts, and it gives me great pleasure to extend all the best wishes to the 30 recipients who will get their leases today. As we gather here, I invite you to take pride in this milestone, not just as individuals, but as a community with deep roots and enduring legacy. Today is about recognition, dignity, and opportunity. It marks a turning point for many of you who have long worked the land without formal title, and it signals a brighter, more secure future for your families and generations to come. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Let us celebrate this meaningful occasion together. Thank you.
Director Price, and following from that, this is not the first attempt that the government has made in respect of divesting these lands to the stakeholders that we have here today. This is actually our second round. When the sugar industry closed, an attempt was made to regularize persons or to satisfy a need that would have existed with the extraction of the sugar industry and all of the workers, farmers, and dependents on that industry, right, were brought into a situation. They were introduced to land access under a different regimen. We have reviewed that, and now we're coming with this direct tenure relationship with you and SCJH. And so this is not a new venture. This is just what do you call it now? Continuation. But I wanted it to be second time around, which is better than the first time. So we have actually improved on the strategy and the formulation, and we're able to now engage directly the farmers who we are awarding these lease agreements to today. I am told that we have in our midst Councillor Michael McLeod. Could I invite Councillor McLeod to give greetings on behalf of the Mayor, Councillor Louis Chin. Please welcome him to the stage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My Minister, Honorable Floyd, my Member of Parliament, all protocol observed at the head table. I was just give the information by Mr. Chin to bring greetings on his behalf, which I didn't get a script, but this is my division and also Deputy Mayor of Mark Day. So I recognize, as Mr. Mary said, that from the sugar factory closed, and then we had a meeting, I remember clearly our Eastern, and said it's best to give even the man that work in the sugar industry 5 acres of land, let them try for themselves. And I really, really appreciate and recognize the realization of what going forward for the second time, as Mr. Mary said. But I hope all the best for all these young ladies, young men, and to put their hands down. Sometimes, yes, I hear them quarrel about the thieves and what's up. But Minister, that is one thing I'm asking, the people are asking to see what we can do to help them, because there are a lot of losses they come through. So I'm saying, don't give up, as the gentleman speaking on behalf of Chairman and saying, we are on a rise from the urban center to the highway. Normally, Minister, I was calling more far and reach. It's all yourself with that. Right? So that means this is all quick. So I'm saying the same thing, right, with the assistant to these farmer minister. When I talk to you about some proposing. So all the assistants they can get, because we don't have anything else here now. We don't have no factory, we don't have the only thing that do the green problem is just like the RADA, the Stthomas Health Service and the municipal corporation. So the more we can help them to help someone else around them, it's more successful for them and their family. So I'm asking again, don't feel afraid, because Mr. Stevens is out there and he always tell me he is here to serve both sides, the east and the west of Stthomas. So, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. Thank you.
This time, I'd like to invite Dr. Michelle Charles, Member of Parliament for Stthomas Eastern, and to bring greetings to the function. You can.
Honorable Floyd Green, and one of my favorite ministers, Deputy Mayor Michael McLeod, Mr. Michael Price, board member, the entire team at SCJ Holdings Limited, and the team at the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, our esteemed farmers, wave to me, farmers, hello farmers, community leaders, specially invited guests, our principal of the school who always opens her doors for us. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know you were waiting a little bit on the minister, but we are so happy to have him here, aren't we? He brings good news today, right? Let me first of all say, What a joy it is to be here this morning in the heart of Golden Grove and at this primary school, which everything good happens here. Today marks not just policy, but progress, and may I say, prosperity. It's not just signatures, but true social and economic transformation for our farmers. Today we celebrate a significant milestone, one that brings dignity, structure, and hope for the lives of 30 farmers. For too long, the voices of these men and women, many of whom are descendants of sugar workers who gave their life to the land, went unheard. When I first became member of Parliament, our deputy mayor dragged me to many meetings on behalf of the farmers of St. Thomas Eastern, so I know that he is smiling here today, right, Mr. McLeod? This regularization ceremony is long overdue, but it's also deeply appreciated, Minister. The closure of the Golden Grove Sugar Factory in 2019 was a painful chapter in our history. It disrupted livelihoods, fractured generational plans, and left communities like Winchester and Potosi, like he said, Willowsfield, Plantain Garden River, and of course, Golden Grove, grappling with uncertainty. But as always, the people of St. Thomas Eastern showed resilience. Our farmers didn't give up. They stayed on the land, continued to plant, to feed their families, and kept agriculture alive in our parish. And today we stand here because of your patience, your persistence, and your passion. They're finally being recognized. This initiative by SCJ Holdings and the ministry is not just about paperwork, it's about legacy. It's about passing on something tangible to your children and grandchildren. A formal lease gives you more than land, it gives you leverage. Leverage to access credit, leverage to plan long-term, and leverage to dream bigger. As your member of Parliament, I want you to know I see you, I hear you, and I will continue to fight for more infrastructure, more support, more services, and more investment in our farmers. Whether it's access to roads, irrigation systems, or training and market access, we will not stop until agriculture in St. Thomas is thriving. This regularization ceremony must be the beginning of a broader agricultural renaissance across the parish. With the new Morant Bay Urban Center rising, new highways opening, access to Kingston and the airport, and more job opportunities coming in, St. Thomas is finally getting its due, and our farmers must be the central part of that growth. So let us use today as a turning point. Let us commit to cultivating not just crops, but community. Not just leases, but leadership. Because when you empower a farmer, you feed a nation. God bless you all.
One more time. Put some more energy into that. Right. They're long and the needs have to be satisfied. And so we're responding. She mentioned some areas. Potosi West and East. Right? Anybody here from the Potosi area? Brilliant. Rhine, East Rhine. Anybody from East Rhine? Nobody? Over that side. Wheeler Field. We must have some people from Wheeler Field here. Anybody from Suffolk Park? Nobody from Suffolk Park. Winchester. All right, there you have it. And we have PGR, Plantain Garden River. Do we have persons from PGR? All right, so you see, we cover a wide swath of Eastern St. Thomas. And we've been able to meet with all of you farmers in these areas and engage and have come up with a solution so that you can have access to land. All right, and I'm hoping that you put that land to the best use possible. All right, manage your production, manage your productivity, and you'll see your profitability soar. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a little bit of relaxation, some cultural item that we would want to welcome. A little bit more energy behind the clapping from Golden Grove Primary and Infant School. Can you welcome the Golden Grove Primary and Infant School? Gentlemen, I'm told that the performing team is not ready, and so we're going to move on, and we'll take them at a later time in the proceedings. Oh, they're here? Oh, sorry, 1 second. Like how you're trembling, you can hold the mic at the same time, or you need my help?
Hope in Jamaica by V. Buckley. Young people, how you look so stressed? Me never seen you look so yet. You really look like you afraid. What you say? You can't sleep? You lucky? Me all and me now wasting me precious sleep and raise up for my blood pressure. For me, I've hope in Jamaica. What? You afraid to watch TV and listen to the radio? Because of pure bad news you want to see and hear? For our future now look bright and everything get tight. Young people, you think me blind or deaf? Me a see, hear and feel everything we are going. But me still not give up hope in Jamaica. Me not give up hope. Stop with no foolishness, people, and have hope. For no matter how we poor and things tight, we have to have hope. No, me not talk about the hope of a Constant Spring. Me a talk about hope in a Jamaica. Look at people, me gone. For it no look like so no read Bible. The Bible say we will have faith and hope, and that is what we have in a me Jamaica. Hope, people, hope in a Jamaica.
Give her another heart rub. So that hope extend, of course, to a pretty good job of feeding us. Right? You know that we have been through a very difficult year. It was last year we had the hurricane, and our farmers were battered by the hurricane and the storm that followed, drought and all these things, but they still continue. They still are delivering, and they still are feeding Jamaica. Give the farmers a hand as well. While we're focusing on the areas that I've just identified for regularization, there are other areas in Stthomas where farmers used to cultivate sugarcane who are currently in and also extending this program to include them or their descendants, right, on those lands. So in areas like Stokes Hall, Hampton Court, Chiswick, Spanish Wood, Duckenfield Hall, all of these areas we'll target as well to ensure that we level the playing field and put the hands of farmers into lands so that they can deliver on their livelihoods for their families. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now at that point where we will hear our very hard-working minister. I know that he's been up and down across the country, all over the place, giving out titles, opening agro parks, and all of these different things that are important to the sector. Right? But he has made it here today. Right? He took the time out. This is important to the minister, and he's here. He's coming to us to deliver the keynote address, yes. He's a son of the soil of our breadbasket parish of St. Elizabeth. So he's the youngest, but also one of the most hard-working ministers of agriculture and fisheries that we've ever had. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the man who has been championing the new face of food, leading Jamaica's agriculture, fisheries and mining sectors into a new era of transformation and resilience. Minister of Mining, Honorable Floyd.
Thank you very much to Mr. Nigel Myrick. I will give Nigel a big round of applause. He is the Managing Director for the SCGH, fairly new, not to the organization, but to this role. And he has taken it on and is really doing well in this space. Allow me to also say a special good morning to members of the board, Mr. Price, Ms. Hanson, other members of the board. I'm sorry that our chair couldn't be here, but I'm very happy that the other members are here with us today. Very happy to be back in Stthomas. Very happy to be in Eastern Stthomas. Eastern Stthomas is a special little place in my heart, I must tell you. Largely because, firstly, because of your deputy mayor and councillor, Councillor MacLeod, because when I was a young political representative at G2K, and I said we wanted to do a project, but those days you want the project, but you don't have the money for the project. So the most you can do is offer manpower. Councillor MacLeod had us come into the Dalby division and do an old gentleman's house with his support. So can we big up the deputy mayor, hard-working councillor? And of course, if you know your member of parliament, you know I have to love Eastern Stthomas because she is unrelenting. She does not stop. She advocates day and night for her people using various methodologies. She uses social media very effectively to ensure that you pay attention to any challenges that they have here and that we get it done. So I want to give your member of parliament a big round of applause, member of parliament Charles. Other members of the SCJ team, members of the media, principal, thank you so much for opening up your school. Clap the principal, and what a wonderful presentation. What a wonderful presentation. But the most important people here today, and the real reason why I love Eastern Stthomas, is our farmers. Can we clap the farmers of Eastern Stthomas? To be here in one of Jamaica's most fertile, resilient, and historically rich parishes, the parish of Stthomas. And we are here today as we celebrate a moment of real transformation for our farmers and for rural Jamaica. You see, to be honest, today's event is not just a ceremony. It's the realization of a commitment. A commitment that was made to ensure that we rewrite some of the historical imbalances, that we restore dignity, and that we create lasting opportunities for the farmers and people of Eastern Stthomas. When I first became minister in 2020, I decided to embark on a listening tour. I said I was going to go to all our parishes and to meet with our farmers and our officials to hear from them what were some of the major issues and to work with them to craft solutions to those major issues. Definitely one of the best decisions that I made. And it came from a place, growing up in a farming community, I realized very early that farmers can quickly identify the problems, and if you listen to them, they will also give you the solutions. So when I came to Stthomas and the Stthomas meeting, one of the main issues that was raised time and time again was the issue of land. Access to land and land tenureship. And was the challenge that the farmers were having regularizing themselves so that they could invest more and do what they love. And I remember I left that meeting and I said to the farmers, I'm going to work with the SCJH to regularize the lands in this area. However, you have to help me because as you have heard, we have tried some of these things before. And if you do things the same way and expect a different result, it's not going to happen. So you have to take a different approach. And I said to the farmers, you know, what you need to do is to form a strong group out there. Form an association. So that we're not talking to one farmer here who come in and ask for regularization. We have a body that we can treat with.
that brings together your common interests. And I was very happy to see that the farmers took it on. They said to me, Minister, we're going to form a group, specifically our cassava farmers, said that they were going to form a group to drive cassava production, and so that they could get greater support and that they could get the regularization. I'm going to ask all the farmers here from the Cassava Growers Association to stand so that you can be recognized. Come forward. Clap them loudly. Thank you. I really want to. We said that this was one of the routine that they should take, and they said they would do it, and they have gotten it done. And as such, we have to ensure that on our side, we fulfill our commitments to do the regularization. So when I came to the Stthomas Agricultural Show, and I spoke there, and a number of my cassava growers members were there doing very well, all sorts of things cassava, and I said from the podium that we were going to take steps to regularize them and provide them with leases. And I saw a newspaper printed the story, and I was happy for that. And I see everybody jumping up like they think that it is something that we're going to do next year. They think it's a promise that we're making because it's a certain time of year. You know, the quickest thing for people to say when they see a political representative say something in this time is that it is based on the season that we are in. The good news is that this ministry, this minister, and this government, we don't work on seasons. We put in the work so that we can reap the rewards. And now is reaping time. So when we said it the start of July, few would have thought that we would have been back here, not to tell you that it is going to come, but to hand out your leases today, so that you, the farmers of Eastern Stthomas, will have tenure that you have fought for such a long time. So we are on a drive through the SCJ to regularize land tenureship, to help our farmers formalize land access, especially these farmers who've been working the lands for years without security, some of them without support. In fact, we are targeting about 1,500 acres of land, and we expect to formalize at least 250 individuals, including a special focus on women and on young people. To date, we are proud to report that over 130 farmers have already been regularized, with more than 600 acres now under formal lease agreement. I think we should clap because this is a powerful step forward in giving our people legal recognition and the security they need to invest in their futures. And we have to trace the difficult journey that brought us here. Because as you all have heard from your Member of Parliament, heard from Director Price, the closure of the Golden Grove Sugar Factory in July 2019 was a major blow, not just to the sugar industry, but to the fabric of the parish of Stthomas. It took a major source of employment, economic activity. In fact, a number of people who turned to farming in a real way were workers or descendants of former workers who had built their livelihoods on the estates. Unfortunately, because there wasn't a structure, a number of you had to informally turn to farming, utilizing the lands that you know, that you have lived on, that you have worked, the SCJ lands, finding a way to survive and support your families. However, as I said to the SCJ, informality cannot continue. And we cannot grow a country strategically through informal methods. And that the challenges that we have faced in the past, there must be a way to solve those problems so that we can move forward. So I have set the SCJ on a drive to repurpose former sugar lands for productive economic activities. When land just sit down not doing nothing, it don't help anybody. And in fact, sometimes when you hear we lose agricultural land to all sorts of things, the reason why we lose it is a lack of utilization. But the farmers will tell you the reason why they don't use it is because they don't have the access and they don't have the documentation. So we have been on that drive. In fact, last year, over 6,000 acres of land across the parishes of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Stthomas, Trelawney, and Westmoreland have been made available for lease for a variety of purposes, including cash crop farming, horticulture, greenhouse, aquaculture, fish farming, livestock rearing, and grass cultivation. But more than that, we have said we are on a drive to formalize leases. So this is not just happening in Stthomas. This is happening all over the country. Because the challenges that you face here, we found those challenges in Trelawney, Long Pond, almost the same set of circumstances, where we've already formalized 34 farmers occupying 293 acres of land. We found those challenges in St. Catherine, where we regularized 13 farms occupying 82 acres of land. In fact, we have leased 84,000 acres of land to date. And I think that deserves a big round of applause. So I really want to commend the board, because sometimes I am hard on them, and the management, because I'm always hard on the management. I want to commend the SCJ and the board chair by Mr. Allen for getting this done. In fact, it recently came to my desk whether I should reappoint this board, and I had no challenges, because we set out to do this job of regularization, and we have gotten a lot of it done, but there is more work to do. And having proven that you can get it done, good work gets more work. So you will continue serving. But we have now taken under the board and the leadership of the SCJ management bold and meaningful steps to bring structure, opportunity to lands in Stthomas. The regularization initiative is across multiple communities: Winchester, Potosi, Ryan, Plantain Garden River, Golden Goal, Willerfield, and surrounding areas. It provides stability. In fact, now that you have a document that will outline your terms, some of the issues that you have had in relation to financing, some of the issues that you have had in relation to expanding your investment, because you don't know if tomorrow somebody will come and say they want that land and you have to move. We're putting those things to an end. You can now plan, invest, grab a leasehold interest in the land, which is a legal interest, which has value that you can use to leverage further investment. And I'm happy that we're taking that step today. And as you heard, we will be handing out 30 of those leases today as we look to modernize agriculture, regularize land use, and create sustainable rural economic opportunities. I gave an extensive presentation at the agricultural show, and I want to commend the team from RADA, led by Mr. Stevenson. Give him a big round of applause, please. Very hard-working parish manager. And I did indicate that Stthomas is our leader in relation to cassava. And I can give Stthomas a big round of applause for that. And president and group, now that they have their leases, I want to see rapid expansion. I want to see rapid expansion. You know we still cannot satisfy the demand that's out there for cassava. Cassava is one of our superfoods. And what we have seen, especially with the expansion in bami production now, I don't know if you know, but recently one of our major companies exported their first container of bamis to the United Kingdom. And as they touched the shelf, they went off. So there is going to be a tremendous demand in relation to cassava. And that is just one thing. You and I know cassava can do so many things that once we now regularize you, we expect to see expansion. I did indicate that we are going to be strengthening the equipment pool in Stthomas. Every time the Stthomas farmers talk, I remind them, when I came here, Stthomas had 0 tractor. Not 1, 0. I think since I've been minister, you've gotten 2. And I have promised that you're going to get 1 more this financial year. Because you have proven yourself, and I know the tractors over here, they don't rest. Between cassava and onion, the work is being done. And that is just some. One of the beauties about Stthomas, you plant almost everything. Almost everything goes well in Stthomas. You know you are the home for our East Indian mango. As I was driving in, I almost stopped it because I was late. But when I'm going back out, I will make my wife very happy by trying her some East Indian mangoes. So we're going to continue to help in relation to equipment, not just tractors, not just high-powered tractors. We're going to be bringing in some walk-behind tractors that one person can operate. We're also going to be bringing in some soil augers for digging holes in a much more efficient manner, and we're going to be providing some drones. We're ordering 6 drones now, because the drones, as you should know, is really effective now in terms of fertilization and chemical application. And all of us know there are challenges with labor. So we have to do it more efficiently. And the truth is, what would take 3 people 2 days will take a drone 20 minutes. So we are investing in a drone service just like how we have a tractor service. So you will be able to go to RADA to order and pay a subsidized rate for the drone, and RADA will send the drone pilot to come and do the work on behalf of the farmer. 2 more things. I never mentioned the last time that definitely we're working on in a big way. Well, I spoke a little bit about the first one the last time, but since your council has brought it up, we are taking significant steps in the fight against predatory larceny. I think it is fair to say no other government has taken more steps than this government to treat with the predatory larceny issue. And why do I say that? For decades, we've been speaking about increasing the fines. And for years, people said they would increase. In 2023, as minister, we moved the maximum fine for some of the predatory larceny related things from $250,000 to $3 million. And the maximum time in prison from 3 months, 6 months to 3 years in prison. Right? Taking big steps. And now, predatory larceny can be considered under our anti-gang legislation. So you can get gang time, and you know how much time that is for predatory larceny related crime. We did that with the Agricultural Produce Act. I came back with the predatory larceny Act. We've started recruitment for agricultural wardens, because it's one thing if you deal with the law, but if you can't catch the people, law no frighten them. So you have to put more boots on the ground. We have already shortlisted about 240 people for agricultural warden training. Of them, we will choose 100 that we will deploy towards the end of this year. But more than that, the police have taken a major step, because for a long time we were saying to the police, elevate how you treat with agricultural crime. It can't be that farmer go police station go report predatory larceny, and the police officer is saying, boy, they have something more serious to deal with. I can't think of much more things than more serious than when you plant and another man reap. But we had to put a structure in place. And we've been saying to the police, put a structure in place for agriculture. Just like how we have a structure for sexual offenses. When you go to the police with a sexual offense, you have officers who are tasked just for that. Well, it started with Commissioner Anderson, but Commissioner Blake has taken the step. And we now have an agricultural protection branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. That deserves a big round of applause. Because what it means now is that already, they have already transferred 48 officers that their sole job is to deal with agricultural crime. That agricultural protection branch is now headed by an acting assistant commissioner of police. So we get now the hierarchy structure that we need. And in these police stations, you will have your predatory larceny units. So under the agricultural protection branch, you have the predatory larceny unit. So when you go to report agricultural crime now, you will have your own officers. They will have their own motor vehicles, so they can treat with predatory larceny. Under that agricultural protection branch, we have the agricultural wardens, which what we're going to do in areas where we have a lot of reports, we're going to deploy more boots on the ground. So I'm saying to the farmers, some of you had stopped reporting, report. Because we don't want to pull up Jamaica, and when we look, we say, but they don't have the predatory larceny problem, and it is because you have not reported it. We want to get the report so we can deploy. And finally, that agricultural protection branch will have a drones unit. Now, this is different from the drone I talked about before. This drones unit will be used in surveillance to help protect farms and farmers. At times when nobody is around, we can have the drone up and looking to ensure that those who will try to pilfer and steal from farmers, they can be brought to justice. So we are taking some big steps to deal with agricultural crime. And we've seen some results. We've seen significant increases in arrests, and we are going to continue on that drive. The last one, now that you regularize, now that you have your own lease, now that you're going to be investing more, we're going to have to invest in some storage. So I am going to work with the SCJ, work with the Agri-Invest Corporation to ensure that our highly protected area, highly productive area in this side of Stthomas has some cold storage capacity. One of the challenges that we have in Jamaican agriculture that we all know is that we are seasonal planters. Sometimes it's good to plant certain things, but unfortunately everybody planting it at the same time. So when pumpkin come in, a lot of people have pumpkin. And then it ends up that you have a challenge twofold. One, the market is saturated, so we can move the produce, and then the price start to do what? Price start to drop, and then you say, boy, you're not getting the returns on your investment. The only way to treat with that is to extend the shelf life of the product. Because you and I know, 2-3 weeks after we talk about glut, we talk about shortage. And 2-3 weeks after there was a lot of pumpkin, people are calling and saying they can't get pumpkin. And pumpkin price skyrocket. We have to take out the guesswork out of agriculture. So when we plant, we have to have storage capacity so that we can store, extend the life, so we have a consistent supply of everything we produce. We are already spending $1 billion this year on storage. And I'm committed to the farmers in Stthomas today that I'm going to organize some resources. I'm working with the SCJ, working with the AIC, identify a location to build an appropriate storage facility. And let me say, I'm working with the Cassava Growers Association, because I'm not leaving it out. Once you have an organization with a structure, I want to work with you. Because we don't want to build these things for us to manage it. When government manage these things, it has a whole lot of problems. When farmers take responsibility, we have done one in St. Mary. The farmers themselves manage it. We provided some containerized solutions. And you know, when I went down there to visit, they have managed it so well that it's 2 trucks them have now operating to bring produce to supermarket. And when I went down there and I said, what you need? She said, well, just give me one more storage because we're getting in the things. So I'm saying to the group, let us work together and let us get a storage facility that can help our farmers get greater returns on their investment. With that said, let us commit to work together. I know that these farmers are some of the best in our country. You are already doing well, but I know now that you are transitioning into a more formal arrangement where there will be greater recognition of your contribution. You will do even better. I want to say to you, sometimes we lose hope in our country. Sometimes we believe that problems that have been around for 40 and 50 years cannot be solved. But I want to assure you that leadership makes a difference. And if we have the right leadership, we can solve any problem in Jamaica. So as my young lady from Golden Grove Primary said, have hope in Jamaica. And in everything you do, choose Jamaica. God bless you.
I tell you that he's a hard-working minister, and you can judge that for yourself. I don't have to tell you anymore. This is the hardest working minister I can probably say in my lifetime. Right? Honorable Minister, thank you. Very riveting, very informative, and I can say a whole heap of deliverables. Right? We're happy they're landing, and the people are feeling the benefit. Our farmers are seeing the benefit of your hard work. We are here. Oh, before I say that, we also have some lands that we're formalizing on the western side, Minister, okay, in Morant Estate, as well as in Stanton. In fact, we have already done the work in Stanton. So we've settled the people in Stanton, and we're moving our attention as well to Morant Estate. So more to come. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for a reason, and it is now time to get down to that true reason. And we're going to officially start the handing out of the leases. So I need some assistance from the SCJ team. And I will also ask, Minister, is it out too early?
Is Cynthia Aarons. She's from the Winchester area. Can we have a round of applause after each? Thank you. Leonie Anderson from the Winchester area. Next we have Lennox Barkley from the Winchester area. Patricia McDonaldson, Winchester area. Michael Goodlit, Winchester. Mrs. K. Marine Johnson Hay, Winchester. Nimroy Henry, Winchester. Carmen Jackson, Winchester. Salva Growers Association. Delroy McDuffers, Winchester. Shane Mignot, Khalid Farron from the Winchester area. Emarine Smallwood, Winchester. Michael Thompson. Lascelles Forsyth, Winchester. I don't see Lascelles Forsyth making their way. Oh, you're collecting on behalf of? Okay, can you come around this side, please? Thank you. East in East Farm Limited. Do we have a representative from East in Farm Limited? Okay, make your way, ma'am. Also from the Winchester area. Yes. This time I will take over. Next person on my list is Wellworth Jr. from the Rhine area. Round of applause, please keep the round of applause coming, thank you. From the Rhine area. Kevin Williams from the Rhine area. Here we have Kevin Williams. Christina Sinclair from the Wheelerfield area. And I have Sharifa and Glenn Bernard from the Potosi area. Can I have your name, please, sir? Glenn? News from Potosi. Area. Maurice Smith.
To make sure that on the very first page at the top, that is actually dated, it will say on this day of a particular year. It's supposed to say the 23rd of July 2025. If it doesn't have that, before you leave. All right? So we've done what we came to do.
Your name and where?
My name is Andrew Sterling from the East Potosi. Yeah. My documents them. I'm glad to get them. Yeah. Cause many times yeah, I feel good. I feel very good about it. Cause sometimes we have to run up and down, not have anything to show. And anything police come and say anything to us, at least we have something can explain and show them. We give thanks about that. Many thanks again. Okay?
My name is Cynthia Yeran from the Winchester Farmers. And I am so happy, I'm so excited to have this piece of paper in my hand today, knowing that this is my passport. Glory, everybody see it, I can say, yes, I have authority to be on that land, and this is our passport. You can't take it from me, you can't run me up. I'm happy.
My name is Mr. Nimroy Henry, a old clean cutter. Yeah. And then close the factory and say that them down, I must take piece of the land and have access to it, that they can come collect lease from me. And I feel happy, excited, because my money turn up. My money no limit like when the factory used to go on. My money they pan shelf and excited if you know say boy, yeah, the money did there and I eat that man for run the family. Yeah, the family can eat food straight. Yeah. And whosoever want to follow me can follow me come about said way. Come make himself together. You understand? You have to give thanks, man. Give thanks, brother. Give thanks, man. We now stop say thank full. Look the body. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
She just a black with mine, so.
All right. Mm-hmm.